Okay, we got a muzzle brake setup done, and because I'm an old guy, I have done some notations with a Sharpie on things just so I can keep track of my mind where I'm at with stuff. I've marked the chuck with top dead center. Don't have to, but I'm just keeping that in my mind. I've also, even though I know this is the rotation location, for want of a better word, I've put some marks on the dividing head just so I can see them and count the mark as opposed to trying to line up a hole. The other thing I've done is I've notated on the bed in Sharpie just to help me out that at locations 1 and 3 I got 8 turns and I got to do that 5 times. I then advance the bed, and I've also marked that on the bed of the Bridgeport. I need to advance each location 0.326 inches. I got to do that 3 times. And so I don't have to focus, I've set my digital readout, old school, to 0. And I put an arrow in the direction I want to turn to make sure that I don't lose track and turn the machine the wrong direction. I've done 1 round with the mill just to go through the operation. Everything's set. It seems to be working okay. I put the flats on. I'm going to switch over to a drill and start drilling these and see if we had any screw ups. What I've also done is, because I have zeroed that, if I haven't got a big enough flat, I'll be able to adjust the tool location and come back just to give myself a better flat to work with. And let's see how it all goes. I'm going to do a rough attempt, and we'll see what the drilling operation is. I'm not going to sit here and videotape the entire operations. I'm going to do just a couple of shots, advance it. This is stuff that everyone does. They don't need me to show them how to do it, but I just wanted to go through the process of how we're going to go about setting up our blank to machine the holes that were in John's gun. But this is not our final muzzle brake design. This is just prototyping series of operations, see how it works. I've been doing a series of holes now and everything seems to be working out fine. And I zoom in, you can see that the flat is doing what it was supposed to do. We're not drifting the drill, it's cleaning a nice hole. I'll go and advance to the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I talk aloud, that way I know that I've done the operation. Drill the next hole. And the first series is complete. Okay, we've got the machine back, the top dead center. I need to advance this way our 0.326 and then rotate around the 36 degrees for the first hole. So like I said, I've set everything to 0. So I'm going to advance it back towards myself. $100, $200, $300 thou plus 2, 6. Lock that guy. We're now at our next position, but before I do anything I need to rotate around the 4 turns to get it where we need it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're now ready to start doing the second operation. Covers a little blunt, shove them a little bit with a flat. Now we're going to rotate around our 8 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Repeat. And I will come back when we're finished doing this set and see how accurate they look. Well, we've finished our series of operations, and we definitely got the pattern we were looking for. Like I said, this was a test setup. The one thing I did realize is I got to get a different set of jaws for this thing, because the jaws were interfering with my drilling operation and I was rubbing against it. The second thing I need to do is to check my indexing head. There seemed to be a couple of spots where the worm gear was catching, but we're going to make a mandrel to do a series of these. This was just to check our math, see how it worked, and I think we were successful. Okay, we're just going to do a little recap on what we actually did. We used a sine bar to determine an unknown angle of what the angle the holes were drilled at to replicate it. The next thing we did is determine the number of turns and rotations we would need to go through to actually drill the same series of holes. The next operation we did was set it up in the mill and locate the center point of our work relative to the center point of my tool. And I found the edge using an edge finder, which I didn't show because everyone does this anyway. Located the tool center, and then we did our milling and drilling operation, advanced, rotated to the second position, 4 turns to locate the next hole, went through the whole operation again. Since this was a demonstration and I decided we're not going to go with this pattern anyway, I didn't bother doing positions 3 and 4. This would be a waste of time. Plus, it allowed me to discover issues with the tooling I had. I was using a reasonably blunt end mill, so I wasn't getting a very good hole. Drilled out fine. I had an oops when I was rotating it around because I haven't got replacement chuck for my dividing head yet. So the jaws themselves were causing an interference with some of the stuff I was doing. This is fine. It was prototyping, working out the order of operations, how far to advance the machine. I don't have a drone, so I was showing you what I would do without the DRO to actually advance and relocate the holes. I actually increased the location a couple of thou just so I had a nicer offset, because I felt like those holes were really cluttered together and I just wanted to try something out. So my hole locations vary a little bit from the original, which is okay. You can see it's like a half hole further along, but that's okay. I'm just working out what we need to do to come up with a workable muzzle brake device here. If I rotate this barrel around, hopefully you can see how bad the whoop is in it. We investigated that. We discussed issues with material thickness. If I take the muzzle brake off, you can see the thing wobbles and flops around like a dick in a shirt sleeve. So we know the end of this barrel's no good. There is some pucks and pots in there, but that's alright. You know, we would do a trial run getting all that tooling right, working out. I'm not really happy with some of the dimensions of that, like I was discussing. You can see with this hole where I was talking about the chuck was interfering, so I just moved on, and when I came back I just let the drill drift a little bit and drill the hole because I wasn't too concerned. I was slightly off with my end mill in a couple of locations, but it is just a series of setups to work out what we're doing. It will work. The gases will go where we want them to. I don't think this design will reduce our recoil like we were discussing. It definitely should reduce our decibel levels, but I don't think anything else. I think that's about all it's going to help us with. Whether it'll be noticeable with head protection on, I don't know. So I hope everyone learned some of this. I threw some ideas out. I made some discoveries.